Hello, and welcome to Sideways. Have you ever felt the need for something so badly that you found it impossible to concentrate on anything else, or get whatever it is out of your mind, even if it threatens to destroy you? Well, that's this week's topic. In addition, we talk about me having COVID, earmarking other people's possessions in the event of their death, and the album No House Should Be Without. Cravings. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
I can, actually, yeah. How you doing in your COVID-ridden state?
Yeah, I've got COVID.
Yeah. Is it laying you low, or are you coping okay?
I'd say somewhere midway between the two.
Okay.
I mean, I'm coping in as much as I'm upright.
Okay, yeah.
But I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I understand it. So it seems that everyone has had it or is getting it. I seem to have slipped through the net so far. But
if you want to pop round, I can sort you out on that front.
It's not the kinds of invites I've ever received, but thank you for thinking of me.
It's interesting because I was thinking about this morning how 2 years ago, almost to the day, because it was Tom's birthday when the first lockdown was announced.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And his birthday's on Wednesday, and it's taken 2 years, but eventually it's got me.
By which time it's a different variant, and you've had your jabs and stuff. So
don't diminish my experience.
I'm not diminishing, mate. I know you you crave the sympathy.
You basically said there's nothing to worry about. Then that was your subtext.
there. I should have said, at that point. Yeah.
I can't believe you're being so disparaging about my brush with COVID.
Yeah, a little bit unsympathetic, I suppose, but you're a big lad. You'll pull through.
Well, actually, if I could just share with the listener a little exchange we had yesterday when I told you
I
had COVID. I'm going to read it, actually.
Okay.
You asked me how I was, whether I was feeling shite. I said, not as yet, only moderately shite. Hopefully it will continue in a similar vein. And you said fingers crossed and talked about recording today after you'd been to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And I said, hopefully we'll still be good to go. I'll let you know if I'm on a ventilator and can't make it. And you said, can I have your PlayStation?
Well, yeah. I was just trying to lighten the mood a little bit, mate. That was all.
Yeah, but I bet there was a serious undertone in that as well, though, wasn't there?
Well, yeah. Well, we always used to play that at home when someone was ill. We used to go around and put stickers on their belongings for a laugh, with it to claim them. So I might come round and put some stickers on your stuff.
Well, yeah, if you want to, you'll be taking your life in your hands there, won't you? Because almost certainly, if you come into the house of germs, you almost certainly leave with more than you bargained for.
Yeah. Perhaps I'll save up for my own PlayStation. It's a better route, isn't it?
I would. Anyway, I'm getting a bit tired now, so should we get on with it?
Shall we crack on? Yeah. Well, originally we were going to talk about one of the subjects that I had on the list that we sort of create from time to time. There was one. We just written down desire, and I was trying to work out I was having a bit of trouble sort of getting any decent set of notes on that, but I may return to that at a later time. But I decided to go with cravings, which is a pretty close relative of desire, really, isn't it? And an appropriate subject matter for many of our listeners. And we haven't actually dedicated one to this. We've touched on it a number of times over the last couple of years we've been doing this. But just before we start, I don't know if you got it before we start this week, but
no, I did have we've already fronted it up now, but I had something I'm not grateful for, but you can guess what that was this week.
Okay, yeah, that goes without saying.
That one, haven't we?
We have really, yeah, to a large extent. Yeah. But I was just going to say, really, it's only a little short one, really. I bumped into a mutual friend of ours at the footy this week, Dave Clark.
Oh, yeah, well, Dave,
yeah. Actually, I said Dave Clark. That's not his middle. His middle name isn't Dave as well.
How do you know? Do you know that?
I haven't asked him, but it worries me when people have two names the same, don't they? Like Jimba or Boutros Ghali. Do you remember him?
Or Gary and Phil Neville's dad, Neville.
Neville. Yeah, it's not right, is it? There's something inherently wrong. Anyway, I bumped into him. Actually, it's the second time because I bumped into him several weeks ago at the footy, and I'd mentioned this podcast. And when I bumped into him this week, he said he's really enjoying them, and
nice.
he's become an avid listener. He's going back over the old ones, which in groups we call that now doing a Ronnie. Because Ronnie went, once she discovered the podcast or was introduced to it, she went back and listened to them all from day one, which is becoming quite a trick to do. And I don't know if Dave is doing a full Ronnie or a half Ronnie or whatever. He's just picking a few out. But yeah, he seems to have taken to it.
Well, that's good. I spent a lot of happy hours with Dave up the backfield playing headers and volleys. He was better at football than me, though, so that was a bit of a drag. But I was just thinking, though, about that whole doing a Ronnie thing.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that I know the answer to this. But if you were to do that with a podcast series, my guess is you'd have to start from episode 1 and go through chronologically.
Yeah, I would.
Rather than jump. Because I do that with podcasts that I enjoy. They tend to be kind of interview podcasts. So I look for people that I want to hear interviews with. So I jump all around them. And when I've listen to the ones that I'm most interested in, I start to listen to the ones that I'm slightly less interested in. But it wouldn't work for you, would it?
No, I'd have to do it in strict chronological order. That's true. It wouldn't suit me
because you're a fruitcake.
Well, I think that's a bit harsh, to be honest. But it's just the way I like to do things.
All right, I'll let that go.
Anyway, I can see you're not in the mood for a fight anyway, are you?
Not really, no, I haven't got the energy.
Okay, we'll crack on with the subject matter, shall we?
Yeah.
The research this week is based on a lot of the info I saw or I got hold of on the Smart Recovery website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We haven't actually talked about Smart Recovery much. And I think we ought to do an episode on it at some point, or indeed get someone on perhaps from Smart, because it's a good. It stands for self-management and recovery training, and it's the roots of the system go back to sort of the mid-70s when it was called rational recovery, which is a sort of a secular alternative to AA. And we encourage people to try and use their online help. And I've been to some of their Zoom meetings as well they've held during COVID, and I've found them very useful. But on their site, they start off by saying, we're dealing with cravings. First thing is to remember that cravings are normal, and everyone who's engaged in addictive behaviour will experience these cravings at some point. But they always pass with time. And
the first thing that I'd written down.
Was it? Yeah. I mean, it's something which applies to all cravings. It's not just alcohol or drugs, but in any. A lot of people will have cravings for chocolate,
crisps,
anything like that.
Not today, mind.
No, you're not in a craving sort of mood, are you?
No, it's weird. When I was thinking about that, I thought, one of the things that is true about cravings is they do pass. And then I thought to myself as I was writing it down, I actually wrote something down today that tells you how ill I am.
Well,
and then I thought, well, maybe it feels different when you're an alcoholic. Maybe there's something that feels as if it's interminable, that craving will go on and on and on forever.
It does feel like that. Yeah, it does. But, it's in early recovery. It's almost a constant stream of cravings interjected with brief periods of not wanting to have a drink or pick up.
Just as an aside, I didn't know what Smart Recovery stood for, so I'm quite glad I've learned something today. You told me that, because whenever I hear the phrase smart recovery, I always think of smart objectives from my life in the corporate world. Do you remember what they were?
No.
A smart objective is one that is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timed. It's typical corporate bullshit.
That sounds awful. It does sound awful. But I think this is more along the lines of your style of work, really.
Yes.
And we'll come on to that later on in the notes. But it is it's something which, with cravings, I think it's learning. It's a learned experience to say no to the sort of intense, ingrained desires, and it's one of the biggest challenges in recovery. There's no doubt about that. And the good news is that you can sort of understand these desires and learn to resist them, and that's what the smart system helps you out with.
I can remember. I don't work with people who are giving up smoking very much anymore. But when I used to do quite a lot of work with that, I can remember one of the things we used to talk about was the importance of breathing through cravings.
What? So breathing through them? Breathing
through them, deep down, the idea that kind of deep down, when you kind of breathe, when you kind of focus on your breathing, deep down, there is always a kind of sense of peace and relaxation. If you can just get through that really kind of powerful desire and need to do whatever it is you're needing to do. In that case, it was have a cigarette, but we're talking about having a drink, aren't we, or anything else?
Similar to meditation, then, really, isn't it? Getting your breathing right when you start the meditation, because it's a lot of serenity follows.
Yeah, I think it's about turning your focus inwards.
Yeah,
if you think about what a craving is, I want something that is outside of me, and I want it now. Whereas when you focus on your breathing, you're turning your attention inwards, and you're focusing on what you already have. That ability to self-regulate and calm yourself down, which it is difficult to achieve when you first start. But the more you do it, it's like a muscle. It becomes stronger, and the easier it becomes.
And I can attest to that, certainly. And it over time, it does become a lot easier to deal with them. But we're looking at the Smart Recovery Program. In fact, coping with urges and cravings is point 2 of their 4-point program. But they use this acronym called DEADS, DEADS, which I don't think is entirely appropriate, really, especially when you're talking about us people in addiction. But, which stands for delay, escape, accept, dispute, and substitute. And I want to just briefly go into each one of those in a moment, but I just want to go to the acronym itself, because I remember when the local recovery hub, when I was using it, it was run by Kenwood Trust, and it was taken over. They lost the franchise effectively, and the next people that come along were called CRI, which is CRY, which is a little bit, I thought, well, that's not a good acronym particularly, but it stood for Crime Reduction Initiative as well, which gave you the impression that anyone that went in there to deal with their addiction issues were automatically labelled as a criminal. And you get rid of this out of your system and sort yourself out, you will no longer be a criminal.
It's funny, isn't it? Though it's funny that organisations don't seem to think about the significance of things like that.
No,
I mean, it would put people off going, wouldn't it?
Totally.
Sure.
Yeah, well, they've changed it now. It changed to Change, Grow, and Live, which is probably the CGL, which is better. It's got to be better and more enticing. You're right.
But it's also much more appropriate and descriptive of what is really happening.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I could never come to terms with it. And there was a lot of disquiet about it at the time, but thankfully they changed it, and people don't have to suffer that ignominy of going into the recovery hub under that banner. Anyway, getting back to DEADS, the first point there, the first D stands for delay, and it goes on to explain that the mental activities of cravings and urges disappear over time unless you actively maintain them with your attention, which is going back to your breathing, really. Under D is that first D as well. They say that if they're not gone in the first 10 to 15 minutes, the chances are you're still exposed to the stimulus that caused the urge in the first place.
So the delay is about something we've spoken about a lot, which is sitting with your feelings.
Yeah.
Tolerate the discomfort.
Yeah, it is. It is. We've always told that cravings last 7 minutes, and when you talk about that in groups, the cravings tend to last longer than that. But 10 to 15 is probably about right. But you have to remind yourself also that all the urges you've ever had in the past have passed. They don't stay forever. And once you've sort of denied an urge and done it once, you know that you can do it repeatedly.
Yeah.
And after a short time, there will be fewer cravings, and the ones that do come along diminish with intensity. So waiting them out is a great step to recovery. So that first one, delay, is quite an important one.
Yeah, I imagine that's also one of the toughest ones for people early in recovery.
It is. It is. They're all quite tough. The cravings can be it's a great source of relapse, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The second one, E, escape, which is to get away from the urge-provoking situation, which is, I think it's...
Leave the off license.
Well, I was absolutely right. Or leave the pub. If you're in there and you suddenly leave the pub, but or leave the supermarket, because we know that comes up often in groups. You're walking around the supermarket, suddenly bang. There's not just the aisle itself that contains all the alcohol, but they have them stacked up, especially during the festive periods. They have them stacked up near the front of the supermarket, and it's all around you. But also things like alcohol adverts on TV or parts in films where people are sort of using drink quite substantially. You turn it off, turn it over, come back to it later or whatever. And just the act of escaping the trigger will focus your mind on something else anyway.
I think that's something that people who don't have a problem with drink won't realise, because I'm going to say I don't have a problem with drink, but I do. I'm kind of very attuned to this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it this morning. You notice the sort of blasé attitude to drinking and drinking too much absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
I was just flicking through Instagram and there was this, I follow a lot of food accounts, as you can imagine, and there was this cook doing this recipe for a burger with a Jack Daniel's glaze.
Okay.
It's like, that's just typical of that. And then she's having a Jack Daniel's and Coke with it. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at this at sort of 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. If you're just idly flicking through Instagram as a recovering alcoholic early in your recovery, you can do without that, can't you? So there's kind of triggers all over the place.
They are. And I think that, I think you sent me a little video, a TikTok video, I think, which where there's a sort of a guy slides this cover over his can of Budweiser, which says Coca-Cola on the outside. Right. Yeah. So it looks like he's drinking a can of Coke. And I thought, if ever that is the behaviour of an addict, or if someone's doing that, they've got issues. Because that's a great illustration as to where addiction will take you.
Yeah, yeah. But just one other thing on that subject, because it just reminded me of it. My daughter was in the supermarket the other day buying some ingredients for some cooking, and she bought a pack of mint. Right?
Mints, okay.
No, mint, as in the herb.
Oh, okay,
yeah, mint. And of all the things, of all the ideas you could put on a packet of fresh mint for use, it's got on the front of it, mint, mix up your mojitos. It's like, that's the best thing. That's the only thing we can think of to use mint in bloody alcoholic cocktails. It's bizarre, isn't it?
It's fully ingrained in our society, mate, isn't it? We're not going to be able to extricate ourselves from that very easily.
Yeah. Anyway, there we are.
But no, it's a good point. Where did I get to? Yeah, so I've done D and E. So on to A, which is accept. And it just sort of encourages you to put your cravings into perspective by understanding that they are normal, which they are in recovery, and it will pass. And it's important, I think you touched on earlier on in the recovery process, to learn to accept discomfort. We know that it won't kill you. It'll make you feel a bit uncomfortable, but you have to remind yourself again that it will pass.
Right, it's one of the most valuable lessons for all of us, really, is accepting and honouring our emotions.
Yeah, it is, and you feel good about it. I remember that I felt good once I'd had a couple of cravings. I thought, I've got by that. That is brilliant. I'm pleased. Things are starting to move, because certainly when you're in detox, you think they're never going to go, as we were touching on earlier on. You think this is going to be a constant emotion now for the rest of my days, which is quite a frightening prospect and thought. But it passes to the point where they're no longer there.
I think one of the other reasons that's important when you notice yourself getting through cravings is that you are illustrating to yourself that you do have the strength to do so.
Yeah.
So it's not just a realization that you're improving and getting stronger and things are getting better, but it's also, almost for the first time you're recognizing that, alcohol's not in control anymore.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Which actually is a double-edged sword, because as we've discussed before, it's quite hard to take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah,
but when you're able to make it through a craving, you're taking responsibility for yourself and succeeding.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is a good point. That is a good point. And it sort of leads on really to the next one, the second D. So the last D in dead, which stands for dispute. And I think this is more along you'd probably be able to add something quite substantial to this. I'm hoping, even in your COVID-ridden state.
Okay.
It's just about they talk about developing a rational, effective new belief or counter statement to help with your attack of irrational urges and cravings.
Yeah. Well,
what do you reckon there?
Yes, I'd say that what I've just said is probably an illustration of that.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you're watching the craving pass, you're dealing with your discomfort, and what does the D stand for in this?
Well, it's dispute.
Right. Okay. So what you're doing is you're disputing your previous way of seeing the world.
Yeah. Exactly.
Alcohol is too powerful for me.
Yeah.
I can never overpower it. It's always going to have me. It's always going to take me out. And what you're actually doing is you're disputing that now, because you've just sat through a craving. You've managed to make it through. And now your task is to reframe that. It's like, oh, I can see actually the reality is that alcohol is very powerful. If I give it enough space, it will take me out, but it doesn't have to. So I think that is an example of disputing something that you had hitherto believed and now realise you no longer have to believe.
Good work. You've explained it much better than they did on the website, mate. I think you ought to go and have a word with them.
Yeah, even in my COVID-ridden state.
Even in your COVID-ridden state, you've managed to pull through, pull one out of the bag on that one. Which leaves us up.
Sorry,
was that a COVID cough?
It was a COVID cough. Yeah, I've got a classic COVID cough.
Have you?
Yeah, I don't really like to, fall in with the norm, but
no.
In that instance, I've got the classic dry COVID cough. Yeah.
I could sort of almost see like the adverts on the television when someone coughs and you see all these coloured spores flying across the room and filling up the room.
Exactly. That's what it's like here. It's like a cornucopia of COVID.
So is everyone kept you at bay then, or are you completely isolated?
I'm completely isolated, yeah. Well, apart from the dog.
Apart from the dogs.
Dog's here with me. But
they can't get COVID?
Don't think so. Although I think they can, can't they? I heard they could.
I don't know.
Hopefully Daisy won't get COVID. That would be miserable.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Bless her. She wouldn't be able to explain, would she?
Anyway,
yeah. S, the last one, substitute. And under S, it advises when you get an urge, quickly substitute a thought or activity that's more beneficial or fun. For example, take a walk or other form of exercise. Pick up something new to read. Turn on a podcast to listen to.
This one, probably.
This is the only one to listen to, obviously. Yeah, you're right.
It is really, yeah.
Yeah. And it says, the possibilities are endless. They encourage you to build your own list and write it down. Write down the possibilities and write down the options so that when you do get a craving, quickly look at it and think, right, that's the way I'm going to approach this, which I think is probably good advice. Something I didn't do, but I'd probably, if I was in the same position now, I would do so.
That is good advice. I remember it's with reference really to people who are struggling with depression rather than addictive craving. But I can remember a therapist once saying to someone, how do you expect to have an enjoyable life if you never do anything enjoyable? And he was recommending writing a list of all the things that give you a feeling of joy. And it's kind of the same thing here, because if you create that list of things that distract you or make you feel calm or comfortable or happy, then whatever difficult situation you're in, whether you're feeling depressed or anxious or struggling with a craving, you can look at that list and you say, what can I do off this list? I mean, you'd go through it in bloody chronological order, obviously, but I expect it to be alphabetical as well, wouldn't it? So it'd be apple picking would be number one, I expect.
Well, it'd be on a spreadsheet printed off and tucked in your back pocket for future reference. Absolutely right.
That'd be part. You'd have to have that as sort of. You'd have a 5-point check when you go out, wouldn't you, or a 4-point? I can't remember whether you've got a 3 or a 4.
I've already got a 4. So
it'd be a 5, wouldn't it?
Have your list with you. But it'd bring me great joy. That would be on my list. Making a list. That would be the joy.
There you go.
That would be a distraction. Opening up your computer, get your Excel spreadsheet working, get all headings and titles and call outs on that. Yeah, brilliant. I can see it already. I'm going to do one now.
Yeah,
definitely.
good. Excellent.
I'm feeling excited.
Yeah, I can see that.
But that's sort of, in a nutshell, covers what I wanted to talk about. I think it's a introduction into the smart recovery system, which is I'd like to go further at some point.
It's nice. You're right. We could get a guest. That'd be good.
It would be nice to get someone on from Smart to just talk us through the basics of it, because I think it's important. Yeah. And even though I've sort of read up on it and I've been to the meetings, it needs explaining properly as to how it and why it works.
Okay, good.
So I'm really just onto the gratitude list.
Okay.
I don't know if you wanted to go first, because you had your non-gratitude of catching COVID.
Yeah, well, my gratitude is COVID related, which is, I don't know, I've had this before, but I feel like I can have it again this week because I've got COVID. Okay. But I'm very grateful for having a garden.
Okay.
I can't go out. I can't go out, and actually being able to go out in the garden, particularly as the weather's quite nice now, is a boon. And it makes me think about all those poor people through the lockdowns who didn't have gardens and must have really struggled. So I feel very grateful for that at the moment.
Well, yeah, and it is. And on my gratitude list, I've jotted a few things down, as I tend to during the week. One of them was the sun coming out, which was quite nice.
The sun has got his hat on, hasn't he?
He has got his hat on. You could walk outside and it wasn't freezing cold. It was nice.
Don't talk about walking outside. You're rubbing it in now, aren't you?
Well, in fact, I think that on my gratitude list, the same time last year, I was grateful for the cherry blossom coming on the trees outside my window. And today they're back in full bloom again. So I could put that on my gratitude list. It would be a recurrent one each year.
Do you keep a record of what you're grateful for which week?
No, I don't. But I can look
at
back.
A spreadsheet.
Oh, what a good idea! But no, I've got them all. Obviously, my notes are all in order, so I could go back. I could flick through and find them. That's if I wanted to. Which is just that I know that it came up on, I think it might have been on the Facebook feed. And I thought, there's it, because I put a picture of the cherry blossom. And I thought, this is exactly the same. And it's looking out there today. There it is again.
Nice.
But it was just another bit of gratitude for me this week, was receiving a phone call from somebody who's just starting their recovery journey. Just finding out about it, what to do and how to go about it. Somebody's got to that point where they're feeling it's completely overtaken and starting to ruin their lives. So I'm always grateful.
It's time for change.
I'm always grateful for that, when people think they're happy to speak to me about it, I suppose they're confident what I'm going to tell them is going to be right, which is, I mean, you wouldn't back that up, obviously, but it is nice when people do have confidence in what you've got to say.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's that classic, people only change when they're ready to.
It is.
So seeing someone who's ready for change, I can understand that is certainly a trigger for gratitude. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's lovely. So I've got others, but I'll probably save them for future reference. But there's a bloke outside just walking past who looks just like Jimmy Greaves. Does he?
Yeah.
Does he?
Is he dead?
Yeah, fortunately so.
Yeah, then obviously.
It eventually took him, didn't it? But he's one of my favourite footballing alcoholics.
Yeah. I think he made it into the footballing 11, didn't he?
Of course he did. Yeah. He did. Yeah. Anyway. I've sort of cut down the Spotify search bit because we've slightly changed it. So I've got just the one song on here.
Oh, I hope I know what it is.
Well, if it's to do with Cravings, what would you say?
Well, the only possible choice for Craving would be K.D. Lang's Constant Craving.
Absolutely, yes, spot on, mate.
That's an absolutely corking track.
It's a great track, and it fits in nicely. But I haven't gone through all the process of what I'm not putting on this week, because we wanted to introduce this new little feature about bands that we like, but we've never purchased any of their material.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay. Is there anyone
it's fine. I've got COVID. I'll go with the Jam.
Oh, right. Okay. Did you say that last week?
Yeah, and the week before.
Well, you obviously haven't thought about it much, but I think my one might surprise you, actually.
Hang on, let me guess. Is it Journey?
No, you have to like the band, then not avoiding the material.
Oh, okay. Styx.
Same category.
Bachman Turner Overdrive.
all in the former category, mate. Yeah.
A Barty James Harvest.
Can I stop you there because you're dripping on now and it's starting to annoy me? I think your tone is inappropriate.
Triumph.
What's that?
Triumph.
I don't even know who Triumph are. No, it will surprise you, I think, but it's Led Zeppelin.
Wow, that does. Well, it surprises me I don't think it surprises me that you like Led Zeppelin because obviously if you've got a pulse, you ought to.
Yeah.
But it surprises me you haven't got any Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, never bought any of their stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, because I do like them. I mean, I'm not a massive fan, obviously, but I do like them, and I often think, I should explore them more, really, retrospectively. But yeah, no, I haven't got any of their albums. Actually,
that's reminded me of someone I can offer other than the Jam this week, then, and that's Pink Floyd.
Oh right, okay. No, I've got plenty of their stuff. So yeah, it's I'm surprised. I thought Dark Side of the Moon, every household in the world had it.
Yeah, I think my sister had it, but I don't think I've got it. No, I haven't got. I'm pretty sure I haven't got it.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to. Aren't you supposed to have a copy of Dark Side of the Moon when you exchange contracts on a house?
I think it's part of the deal. Yeah, the whole deal can fall through right at the last minute. You got the removal van outside, bringing the stuff in. Let's see a copy of Dark Side of the Moon. Haven't got one, so we're taking it all back.
If there isn't a Dark Side of the Moon in the house, it's essentially like people removing the curtains and light shades, isn't it? Light bulbs. It's like you've taken your Dark Side of the Moon as well. Yeah, you should always leave a Dark Side of the Moon in the house for the new residents.
As a welcome gift, yeah.
Exactly.
It keeps the evil spirits away.
Dear.
You'll have to get yourself on now.
Dark Side of the Moon now, yeah.
Yeah, well, I sort of brought up on Pink Floyd, really, because my older brother was a big Pink Floyd fan, so that it was always around me. It's one of the first bands that I thought, I really like what I'm listening to here.
Yeah, my big brother liked Mrs. Mills and Russ Conway, so that wasn't much good.
It didn't influence your musical choice going forward, then?
He didn't really know. I don't think there'd be any Venn diagram for my musical taste and my brother's.
Or anything particularly?
Not really, no. No, not really.
Well, I'd like to congratulate you on getting through this recording, mate, in your current perilous state.
Lie down now.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
If you can put a couple of stickers on your West Ham tops as well for me, that'd be great.
Yeah, will do.
All right.
Laters.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Sideways was created by Graham Landy and Martin Pankhurst. If you want to read more about our work or sort through the extensive archive of past episodes, just visit grahamlandywellbeing.co.uk/sideways-podcast. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram at Sideways Podcast, and you can email us if you have a question or if there's something you'd like us to cover. But most of all, we want to tell you how grateful we are that you come and listen, and we ask that if you've enjoyed what you've heard, that you spread the word. And we'll see you next week.